Welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. I'm Carolyn McDonald and I'm here with Rafaella Buzzi to talk about her film, The Almost Adults. Let's take a look at a clip.
A primeira coisa relevante que você precisa saber sobre o mundo adulto é a lei do deixa quieto. E é bem complexa. Digamos, por exemplo, que Joaquim tenha prometido me ajudar a construir meu experimento para a Feira de Ciências. E aí ele resolve simplesmente não aparecer, sem avisar e sem ao menos retornar nenhuma das minhas ligações. Tem mais. Futuramente vocês provavelmente vão se encontrar no elevador. E ele vai fingir que nada aconteceu. Logo, você também, porque está no artigo 3º da lei. Mas, no primeiro minuto de silêncio desconfortável, você vai lembrar quem...
Rafaella, welcome.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. So tell us, what was the inspiration behind this delightful, colorful, clever film?
Thank you. So the idea actually came in a masterclass. So I was in Brazil, and a friend of mine had this ticket for a masterclass, and he got sick. So I went in his place, and I was about like 21, and like the crowd was much older, people from the industry, and the translation from Mandarin to English from the masterclass wasn't really working. So everyone just stood there for like 2 hours straight, like pretending they were understanding something. And they're like really in this theatrical, and then I was younger than everyone. I just kept looking at the sides to see if anyone would like make eye contact to like, yeah, we're not getting this as a group. But no, everyone just kept like pretending they were like understanding. And back then I had just come back from LA to Brazil, so my English was in shape, so it wasn't me. So I like this small childish voice started like talking in my ear, like, oh, how do you behave in a lecture in Mandarin that you don't understand anything? So like, and then I wrote the whole script during the lecture, during the masterclass. So it was really about this childish voice telling me how to behave in an adult setting that everyone was pretending to understand. So it came from that situation.
Wow.
It was like a really inspiring moment,
It sounds like it, because you said you wrote pretty much the whole script while you were there.
Not the whole script, but like the whole premise of it.
Right.
Like this character who is knows it all, and she, has all these rules of how to behave, and but they're like a satire, right? So it's like, it's a funny thing because it's told from a child's perspective of how we should behave, but she's actually like repeating what she's observing, but like it's making us aware of what we shouldn't be doing as adults.
As adults, right. And I thought it was so spot on and hilarious, and so how did you choose those specific themes, given the fact, just looking around the room at this master class, and like you said, people pretending that they knew what they were saying, but then you picked it, the observations, the leave it alone, the repeat difficult words to look smart. How did you choose those specific topics?
From experience. So basically, when I was going to shoot my first short documentary film, the cinematographer in Brazil, he was like really excited to be a part of the project, and then he just like ghosted me. That ghosted wasn't even a word back then, but he like disappeared, and I never understood that like he wanted to disappear. I thought something had happened to him, so I would just like text him all the time, like, yeah, are you okay? Like I didn't have the knowledge that like people do that from not being able to deal with just saying, I can't make this, or I'm busy, or I'm going through stuff. Like people have like a communication inability that I wasn't aware at that age. So like I just kept, believing that at some point he was going to reach out. So it came from like this first professional experience. They all came out of experience. I mean, because I think my favorite was the unfinished projects that weren't good enough. And so people and the comfort zone, it was the other one. So those were observations that you just elaborated on in philosophy. I think we all can relate to have like a critical voice that won't let you express yourself in a way that you want it, you know, like, so the way you see yourself and you want to express yourself, there's always like a voice trying to like hold you back. So it really came from like all these things that I wanted to do, and I didn't let myself do it. So
From your own experience, so you're taking it into this child's perspective to explore it. It's really, really so clever. So talk about the production values of the film. Like, it's very stylized, you know, it has that, I'm sure I'm not the first person to say it has that kind of Wes Anderson kind of feel. Talk about the world you created to do this.
Well, I come from like screenwriting, so my main thing was dialogue. When I started filmmaking, I was like a writer, and then what I felt comfortable with was like writing dialogues, and that where I felt my strength came from. But then it took me so long to finish this film, like to actually fundraise the film, that I had a lot of time in my hand to like just think composition and art direction. And like before even having a crew, I was like just with all this free time and the script, like thinking of how this world should look like. And then like that amount of craft ended up getting close to, you know, a Wes Anderson look, because I just had like so much time to think, how did I want this universe to look like? And then I always knew that I didn't want to based in reality, like a place that you could recognize. Like I wanted a story that could be set anywhere else, you know. And I had so many references from fashion and from the art world. And so these other places, when applied to like filmmaking, it really gets close to what the director has been doing also, because it's very stylish, but I just knew that I wanted something that looked like a fabula, like not set in reality. So it wasn't like on purpose, but when I, you know, and then he was of course a reference, but not at the start, you know.
Right, okay, because also too, to achieve this level of world building on a low budget, indie films and short films, you don't have a lot of budget. But there was a couple of scenes, I don't remember the context of the subject topic, but I remember when the way these characters were walking around this monument and the questions, pulling them out or throwing them in. But I just noticed, I was like, wow, this particular moment of them walking around is big little, like it was just one thing, but it took on this large momentum by the way you shot it and the way the colors were in there, and it was such a great moment in that film to see an achievement for a director to make something big, small look big, do you know?
Yes, that particular moment is a justification well.
Yes, that's it,
So
that's a justification.
The justification well, there's in the center of the adult life where they take the justifications to not do the things that they always wanted to do in life.
Right.
But that actually, like, we made it out of like paper, like, so it looked really bad actually, because we didn't have the budget to, you know, actually build the justification well. So I made it in post, so like 3D.
Really?
That's why it has like this production value that it's not actually there. So a lot of the composition, the art direction that looks like we had a high value production are actually me fixing stuff in post, because I wanted to achieve something that I didn't have the budget to. Like a lot of small details, like, I don't know, there's a rug that wasn't long enough and I completed in post, you know, like all these small things. Like that's why it took a lot of time in post, because I kept just like fixing things that we didn't have the budget for. So.
It's excellent job, because you totally does not look like, to me, you know,
right?
the VFX, it really does not. It really, really does not. And even when there are VFX, it fits the world. I mean, the world of, again, in a child's mind of viewing adults, you know, is really, really well done. Talk about your casting process with these really wonderful young actors.
So we interview over 70 kids to find Charlotte, Louisa, the actor. And she was the last one. It's very cliche, because she was like the last actor to like walk in the room, and you know, all the crew is tired already. Like I made this like very specific interviews with the kids. They were long, so we like stayed the whole day interviewing kids. And she was the last one to walk in, and she lit the room. Like she had like all this energy. People were like on their phones already, and then she like lit the room, grabbed everyone's attention. She was the character. She had like a very professional way of like talking. She has her own YouTube channel, and she was 9. But by the time we shot, she was 12. Like, because it took us a period, and her mom like kept saying to me like she's holding back growing up. Like she's like smaller than all her friends because she wants to be the character, the lead, and she knows that if she grows, she's gonna lose the part. So yeah.
Wow.
That's how like the other actors, like most of them were like friends. All the extras were friends, and they came from the like casting director, you know. So like literally the extras, we would go in the park and ask people. People were just walking in the park with their dogs and like, hey, you want to be in a film? It's like, okay, and I would just give them a sweater and they would walk. Like the park scene, we didn't have any like hired extras. I would just literally, me and the kid, like talk to people in the park and give them like a nice colorful sweater, and they would walk by and sign a paper.
I love it. That's like indie production at its best.
It doesn't look like it, but it was very indie.
It's great. I love that. I love that. And so the actual physical production too, where did you shoot the film and how long, and what about your crew?
We shot it in São Paulo, in Brazil. And we had when we first did the technical analysis of the script, it was a 11-day shoot. Oh, wow. So I had to like start cutting scenes, but I didn't do a good job. I was too attached to the vision, to the script, you know. And then like we reduced for a 7-day, but it didn't fit. So I had to like cut scenes while we were shooting. It was really crazy. And then one day, like we didn't have the location for the exit of the gallery, so we had to postpone that day. And so we shot it in 6 days in August, and then the last day was like in December. Oh, wow. So it had like a gap, and I had to like stay in São Paulo for like 4 months until we shot the final day. So 7 days total, but they were like spaced. And also the 16 millimeter parts, we shot like months later, like right before the pandemic hit. So yeah, it was a lot to come together, you know. So we did most of it at once, and then I just like did all these little interventions later. Just kept reshooting stuff. And
wow, yeah, yeah. So it sounds like quite a production. Yeah, and what did you learn from it? What was the biggest lesson you learned? I'm sure there were many, but the biggest takeaway that from the process?
Well, I mean, like there's something I'm proud of. It should be that I was really, I wanted to do things a certain way, and I was honest about it, and I, you know, I did it the way I wanted to. It took me really long, so because I wasn't aware of the, you know, the cost of what I wanted to do. So like what ended up costing me was time. So I think that's the biggest lesson, you know, like resource-wise, I understand like that I'm an optimistic. That's why I was able to do that, like, it looks like very finished, very fine, but we had a really low budget, like around $40,000 for that film. But so the budget was time, you know. So like I had all these people to like work for free, and I have to wait around their agendas, and it took me really long. So that what cost me. I think I would do things like differently today, but that was like the you know, the like financing the film and getting all these people together. You know, that's what I've learned from the process. Yeah, it's quite a process.
Any advice you'd give to filmmakers?
I would say believe in yourself, because we have such a hard time thinking that the things we write are relevant and that anyone's going to care about them. So it's just like a self-esteem advice that I would give, because I felt like aside from the, you know, budgeting and the financial challenges of filmmaking, there's also like how much we like beat ourselves up and think we're not, you know, interesting enough, or the things that we have to say are not relevant for anyone but ourselves. So I would say if you're passionate about something and if you believe in a story, something tells you that's relevant, and then that's enough, you know? So, and I keep telling this myself too, because I think you need to
Keep telling yourself, right, you do every day, every day. I agree. So thank you so much for being here with us and telling us about your film. Congratulations, and tell us where we can follow you and find out what else you'll be up to.
I'm on Instagram as Rafa Buzzi. It's like RAFABUZZI.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll be posting my future work. So.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.